What's up, guys? I'm back with another one. My name's Kalechi. You can call me Coach K. Now, I'm going to let you on a little secret. Here are 3 mistakes that will keep you fat. So avoid these if you're trying to get ripped. Now, listen up. Now, if you're on a fat loss journey, whether you're trying to lose 20 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 pounds, whatever it is, there are going to be ups and downs. And it's going to be a learning process. There are going to be things that you don't know on day one that you learn later on that will help you on your fitness journey. What I'm going to do is to help you shortcut that process so that way you don't have to make as many mistakes and you can get that six-pack ASAP so you can hit your goals and be ready for the summer. Now, I know exactly what it's like to be overweight and wanting to drop that body fat and get lean, right? It's not a great feeling being overweight, especially if it's to the point where you're even embarrassed to take your shirt off. You don't want to be at the pool or be at the beach just because you're not proud of how you look, right? You only get one body and you got to take care of it. And the fact that you're looking on how to improve your body and get in shape says a lot about your character. So let's make sure that you learn what you need to learn so you can get that body that you want. So here is the first mistake that a lot of people make, and that is consuming too many liquid calories. A lot of you guys have already heard about macros, calories in, calories out. So what a lot of people will do is they'll pick out their meals, they'll figure out how many calories are in everything, which is a good thing. They'll make sure that the calories are in the right spot, but what they have failed to realize and what they have forgotten is that there are calories in drinks, right? If you got a Sprite, if you got a Coca-Cola, if you got some orange juice, if you're having a smoothie, right? Liquid calories are very easy to consume, and usually it's a lot of sugar also. So when you're not paying attention, it's very easy, especially if you have a sugary drink, to consume massive amounts of calories without even realizing it. So you'll be on your diet, you'll be eating the healthy foods that you've picked out, but meanwhile, you haven't realized that you're over consuming on the drinks. Then your calories go over surplus, and then next thing you know, you're in the morning, you've been weighing yourself for a week and your weight's going up, right? If it's just a little bit, maybe one day, it's not a big deal. But if it's gone up every single day and then you've gained 10 pounds, there's an issue. Something needs to be addressed, something needs to be adjusted. So you might want to check and make sure that you factor in those liquid calories into your diet and you keep track of things properly, especially if you live somewhere hot, or maybe even if you've just been doing a lot of exercise, you're naturally going to be more thirsty. So it's really easy to drink too many calories. And the thing is, especially with a lot of beginners, they get confused because they think this is a smoothie that I made with some fresh fruit. The stuff in the smoothie is relatively healthy. But again, when you're talking about fat loss, you need to be in that caloric deficit. So that's why you definitely need to make sure and track your liquid calories. And a way to help with this, obviously, if you are doing a lot of exercise or if it's just really hot, is maybe you have a certain amount of calories of your favorite drink, whatever that is, and then maybe for the rest of the day, maybe you might just drink water or something like that. But just figure it out, even if you're drinking diet soda, whatever it is, just figure it out so that way those liquid calories don't put you in a caloric surplus. That way you can keep the calories down and you can keep burning that body fat. Let's go. Second, and this is another way that people unknowingly end up consuming too many calories, even if they might be eating healthy. This is very similar to liquid calories because also it's something that you might not necessarily be aware of, and that is sauces, right? Your ketchup, your barbecue sauce, your mayonnaise, your ranch. Maybe it's your fettuccine Alfredo sauces, right? Whether that's going on top of pasta, maybe you're dipping the chicken wings or whatever it is, right? But maybe you're making a sandwich and you're just slapping it on, right? You have to be conscious of sauces, and you could even throw oil into this category as well. So basically, these are toppings, any toppings that you're using to make your food more flavorful, right? As in you put in ketchup on your chips or your French fries. Ketchup has calories. Barbecue sauce has calories. And the thing is with a lot of these sauces is one, they typically have a lot of oil in them, or they typically have a lot of sugar. Typically, they're going to have a lot of one or the other. So you really need to pay attention to how much you use. Maybe you need to limit the portion size to where you're only using a certain amount. Maybe you have one of those small little packets where it's a limited amount, or maybe you even take it a step further. Maybe you make your own sauces if you're into chefing it up and making your own food. But the thing is, again, just be careful. There's a lot of calories in those sauces, in the oil, and when it goes on top of the food and you eat it, those are calories that are added into your diet. So again, just be very mindful of what you're putting into your body and make sure that you factor it in when you're tracking your calories. So that way you know how many calories you're consuming. So that's 2. Here we go for the third and final tip that I want to give you guys today. And that is confusing water weight for body fat. Now you might be wondering, how is this a mistake? How is this going to make me gain weight if it's just water weight? Well, now this one is actually much more psychological as opposed to physical. You see, when people are dieting down, they're dropping their calories. Maybe you feel like you're doing a lot because maybe you gave up eating at your favorite fast food joint. The thing is that what you need to take into account is that if your weight goes up on the scale, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've done anything wrong. You might actually be on track. You see, what you have to keep in mind, especially when you look at the scale, is that it's something called water weight. So basically, sometimes your body is just holding on to excess water. Why would the body do that? Well, for instance, maybe if you have more salt in your food that day, your body might hold on to it. Whatever reason, your body's holding on to excess water. And then when you step on the scale, your body's going to show that water weight. So even if your weight's gone up slightly, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've gained any fat. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because a lot of people will get discouraged. They'll be on their diet, they'll be doing what they're supposed to do. A week goes by, their weight's roughly around the same little spot, and then maybe it goes up 3 pounds or 2 kilos, right? And they start thinking to themselves, oh, what's the point? I knew I couldn't lose weight. It's my genetics. There's no point in this. When in actuality, your body's just holding on to a little bit more water. So if you just continue doing what you're doing, the scale will drop eventually. So keep in mind, don't just use your scale as your only frame of reference. Look in the mirror. Maybe you want to take measurements if you're someone who likes to know every single detail, or just look at the eye test, right? And the thing is that you see yourself every day. You're not necessarily going to notice if you've dropped weight. But if, for instance, someone who hasn't seen you in 3 weeks sees you, they'll notice, trust me. So again, just stay on track. Don't be worried too much about the scale. Again, it's just there as an indicator to give you a rough idea, but it's not the be all end all. So if you are trying to lose weight, make sure that you pay attention to your liquid calories and you pay attention to the sources that you're using and making sure that you're not going over calories. And then the third thing, obviously, is to make sure that you don't panic if the scale's only gone up a little bit. Because as long as, again, you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're sticking to your plan, chances are that weight's coming down soon enough. So if you need any help or if you have any questions, just post them down in the comments. And then if you need someone to help you out with your weight loss journey on a one-to-one basis, obviously just reach out to us. Easiest way to get in contact is on WhatsApp. You can also leave a comment, but the best way is through WhatsApp, or you can click one of the links on the channel. Again, I'm Coach K. I hope this helps, and make sure you go get that 6-pack. Peace.